Council meeting August 5th, 2025.
I move so
Approve the
approval.
minutes of, August 5, 2025, regular council meeting as presented. Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Financial report, July 2025.
Thank you. Just want to start out actually with the interest rates. You'll see they have remained stable. They are the same as they were in June. One of the items that has been pointed out of where the interest rates will land does weigh heavily on the tariffs. So kind of depending on what happens with that, will reflect a lot to what will happen with interest rates in the future. But for July, that is when we collect our quarterly revenues, such as our franchise fees. During this July 2025, we collected approximately $621,000 combined with all of our franchise fees for June 30th, 2025. Our water fund, the usage has picked up. So that's just one fund that we're going to be keeping an eye on and reviewing to see if the weather pattern matches with the usage, which is what we were thinking just happened before. It just wasn't warm enough and there just was not the usage that we had anticipated. But you know, here we are going to have 100-degree weather again in this late into the month. So I think it just kind of is shifting a little bit further later in the year than what we had expected before. But it's the beginning of our fiscal year, and as you can see, our projects are underway, and we're moving right along.
On that water fund, I looked at the end of June, and we over budgeted everything. At the end of the year, we were not near spent any of the budget. So when you're saying that we're short on the water, are you taking the real water bills, comparing it to what there? I guess
the real water bills, what we actually billed out, and what we we're expecting to bill out, based on
what you budgeted. You're taking what you got in compared to what you budgeted.
Yes.
And then at the end of the year, if you've over budgeted, what?
And compared to our prior years. So our budget is based off of also what the prior years have been. And that is, we don't double it for the next year. It's been like, oh, we've been on the increase, and where we're adding more homes, more meters, and how much we're spending on adding more meters and more radio reads. So taking all of that into effect is what we use to calculate not only the revenues of what we actually thought we were going to bill, but also how much we were going to spend, because the city pays for all of the water meters. And then when we switched over to the new radio read system, there were some meters that were so old and outdated that they weren't going to work, they weren't compatible, so we knew we had to replace some of those. And actually, when they actually went and replaced them, Ferguson said, oh, we weren't going to have to replace as many as they had initially told us. So that's where we saved some money as well. But taking into account how many new customers we were adding is what we used to budget. And that's why we felt like, oh, something's really wrong. Because not only was it short what we had budgeted, but it was almost less than the actual from last year, yet we had added new customers. But when we reviewed all of our utility bills that tied to the pumps and just kind of tried to review everything that we could, it really just looked like everybody, businesses and residents, were just using a lot less water, even though we were in May and June, which is historically when water usage starts to pick up.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Marta.
All right. So we'll go to our first public comment, our prearranged presentation, capital improvement plan, CIP Boardman. I think that Mark or Mike.
Yep, Mike is here to present that. Good evening, City of Boardman. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think so.
Perfect. So we're getting ready to, I hope you had a chance to review the capital improvement plan. We took the information received from the work session we had quite some time ago, incorporated that into the capital improvement plan. And just to step back a little bit, the purpose of the capital improvement plan is just to do a five-year outlook on projects for the city and prioritize those improvements, and provide cost estimates. If you look also in the appendix, you can see projects that the city's completed within the last version of the capital improvement plan, which is nice to see all the, I don't know, boxes the city has checked off as far as projects. It's a lot, which is it's great. We're making a lot of progress. Is there any questions from the council on any of the projects that are in there or may not be in there? I can field those questions.
I have a couple of questions. So.
Yeah.
On the proposed park at, what is it, is it Bailey Park? Is that what it was called, or the one?
Hillview Estates.
Hillview. Okay, thank you. So the images that were presented with that, are those the final design plans for those, or they're just examples?
Those were generated by AI.
Okay, because when I looked at the Hillview one, and I was like, man, there's 11 baseball fields on here and one soccer field, and then that was it. And then parking, I was like, wow, like, I don't know if we even have that many teams, but anyways. And then second, on the sports complex, that was mentioned in there, and obviously they said, to be determined and things like that. Have we discussed what kind of size on some of these? And I'm just using that one as an example. Size for some of these multi-purpose type areas.
No, and those projects,
The price too.
the projects are very, I guess you could say, conceptual in nature. And at this stage of planning, you can take your, I don't know if you want to call it a best guess, but considering, looking at other facilities similar in nature, similar in size, you take a good stab at the cost, and you can, project on budgeting somewhere near that amount. And those projects that you're speaking of are included in the appendix. They're actually not included in the 5-year outlook. And once they get into the 5-year outlook and refine the scope of those projects, then you can really start honing in on the cost of the project, the size of the project, and all those details. So having them in the appendix, it's saying that the city would like to accomplish that project in the future, but just don't quite know what it looks like.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions?
On the splash pad, will there also be any bathroom facilities like there was where it originally was?
Yeah, the proposed splash pad location is at City Park, where there's already bathrooms.
Okay. For some reason, I
And
got
that
it
was,
here. Okay.
yeah, the Parks Committee selected the City Park as the location for the splash pad.
And then, Mike, do you want to mention the kind of the PD update?
Yeah, there's a project in there. It's the police station and municipal court. That's on the horizon. We've been discussing that. We've been looking at or having discussions on potentially joint funding opportunities. There's been you know, the idea thrown out about excuse me, not a municipal court, but a circuit court. Yeah. So, yeah.
And again,
The I,
once,
yeah.
and
Oh, I was just,
sorry, once those are all updated, Amanda then updates it on our website. So we have the document that is also on there, and then it is broken down individually. So, sorry, Mike.
no, it's the concept really with the municipal court is, and the PD is to construct the main floor level as the PD station, and then conceptually we'd have, you know, a 2 or 3 story building where the upper floors could be a municipal court or a circuit court or something in the future. So, yeah.
Anybody else have any questions about CIP?
Oh, I do have a question.
Last
one was that, so is it Second Street on North, so Northeast Front, what is that, Second Street, that's the one that I think got brought up our last meeting? What is it? Over by where? This is, where council person, who lives.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that empty lot? Talking about connecting that? Okay. So how would that go?
It's in there. Isn't it in there?
Well, I
already?
didn't see where the road would, I just saw that it was there, but I don't know if I saw how the road would be. It's not designed or anything, how. it could-
There's a theory, like a little
Gotcha.
baby, but no.
It would have a dog leg in it
Like it was
to
all-
align Second Street and
That bus road that's already there, it kind of looked like maybe it was there and it just kind of went. Yeah.
Say that one more time, Mike.
with that project, it would most likely have a dog leg in it to align both the second streets. Also, that project was almost within next year's project list, but there's property acquisition necessary, right-of-way acquisition, and so with right-of-way acquisition, that usually lengthens the project time. So it is definitely, I would say, up on the priority list. But we got to get the property acquired first, and that's, you know, step one.
Hey, if it ends up coming to fruition, that's gonna be a good project, because it'll alleviate a lot of traffic, I think.
In that area.
Yeah, because you can't get to the other side without going through all the way around, so, yeah.
School's out, more traffic will come our way.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, we had a report only. Chamber BCDA, July 2025. August 7th, their monthly report. You can take a look and see what's in that. Do you have any comments?
You're on it.
Share?
I would say it's a good, fishing tournaments have been good for our town. Just in general.
We have another one.
Yeah, I think I saw that. It's been good. I think the people that are coming from all over the country, it sounds like, for this, no issues as far as I can tell. So I think it's been good to have something different here.
It's been super exciting
Yes.
to have the fishing come in. And if you haven't been down there and seen it, it's kind of cool to see them when they take off and they come in.
You can be there at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch them take off. I know, because I'm there.
See them weigh, that's kind of cool, see them weigh the fish that they're pulling out. And Was it only the band that releases the fish at the catch, or is it all of them?
Oh,
So they're all catch and release, which is kind of cool. They have a boat that they put them in and go and release them.
And they have to be alive in order to count.
And when you hear them, it's kind of interesting to hear what the people own and what business they do. They even got a sports shop, or they boat shop, or it's kind of cool to hear some of their stories that they have. Anybody have any comments or input on the chamber report? Okay, we'll go to action items. Ordinance 7-2025, amending Boardman Development Code, adding shipping container standards.
So this is just what has been discussed. From the last time this was brought up to the council, there was only one line added. Carla, what was the one line that was added or corrected?
It was clarity on the permitting requirements. Yep.
Other than that, it's exactly how it has been presented.
Or move to approve the reading by title only of ordinance 7-2025, amending the Boardman Development Code, adding shipping container standards.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
My only discussion is if we say down the road, we may have some issues or whatever, can we change or update things as we go along? I mean, this is gonna probably be a learning process for us because it is new.
Yes, absolutely. It's a part of the development code and it's a lengthy process to amend it. But yes, it can be amended.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Did we have any discussion about what we're doing with the shipping containers that are already here?
So we'll follow up with those that are in the community. We'll let folks know what the requirements are, and then ask them to comply. So like if they're being used for storage in either particularly the commercial district, but also the industrial districts, we'll ask them to do what the requirements are, to paint them, and then if they modify them. We had a request a while back, actually from somebody who's in the county, and so we referred them to the county. But if at some point in time that particular person, because they are in the UGB, if they annexed, we did let them know what the requirements would be, and it was an industrial user. So, yeah, any new uses would have to be compliant, but we're going to work with current users to help them become compliant as well. So, yep.
Thank you. Any other questions? Anybody else have any discussion? Okay, so we'll vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right.
Now I'll read it.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 7-2025, amending the Boardman Development Code, adding shipping container standards. Good. And then we'll finish it next month.
Finish it next month. Okay. And we're not doing that one. So we'll jump down to our action items.
Resolutions. Resolution 23-2025, Public Works Standards, General Requirements of the City Standards.
So this is just going off of the discussion we had last council. There's no changes. It's as presented.
I move to approve resolution 23-2025, a resolution adopting City of Boardman Public Works standards.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion you'd like to have? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Resolution 24-2025, park naming.
So again, these names were presented at last council. Based on the conversation that we had last time, there was not a lot of input, so it really is as presented. There was no changes. There might have been, I think there's a question whether the original presentation had the word blocks was one of those, but the other one I'm thinking of was the sports complex. Carla, do you remember if the original one had Hillview Sports Complex or was it Hillview Estate Parks?
So the recommendation for Hillview Park was just Hillview Park, and then there were a couple of other options. The one I forwarded just focused on Hillview Park, but there was a lot of discussion and a real focus on wanting that to be a sports complex. So I did that is modified a little bit from the PAC recommendation, adding the words "and sports complex." Everything else is as recommended by the PAC. Tatome Park, Heritage Park blocks, and then River Ridge Neighborhood Parks. There are 4 recommendations. There may end up only being 3 parks within River Ridge, and so we wouldn't use all 4 names. And they're not specifically assigned to any of the parks. So as we will still need to work on determining which River Ridge Park will get which name. But those would be the 4 names that we would be choosing from.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone wish to make a motion?
Sorry, so sorry, are the names still being discussed, or was it determined that like Heritage Park blocks still be there and?
No, so
Park and-
as of right now, the resolution is these names.
Okay.
So if there would be any discussion or something, that would be through you guys.
After we make the motion or now?
The discussion comes after the.
Yeah, we got.
Okay.
The protocol is that we make the motion and then we have our discussion.
Or we have a motion and we don't get a second and then it dies.
Could I throw out another option? You could choose to make a motion that would actually amend something. So if you, I gather and I understand dropping the word blocks off of Heritage Park blocks. So I think you could also make a motion that would adopt the resolution with a particular change.
Right, but we have to get it into discussion first. So we'd have to have a motion and then discuss, and then we would need to amend our motion and our second after we have the discussion to make that amendment, if we wanted to do it right, I do believe.
Or we just don't make a motion and it just dies. And we we just.
Yeah.
Either that or we have a discussion.
Yeah, and if that's.
If it dies, and then we can discuss and give it back.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a consensus because there's 3 and I would be 4. And I don't know what Ms. Pettigrew was thinking about, but there's only 2 that really bug me.
Okay.
The BPA park area, I just don't like the word blocks. I don't like it. I don't know what the issue is on just why we just don't call the whole thing the park. If it's so be it that we needed to at a different time put an east-west location. If there's an area for east-west, then it comes in later. But, and I've got a little bit of heartburn on putting sports complex on something that's not a sports complex. I'm okay with Hillview Park and with the idea that it's going to become a sports complex, but I don't know why it would have a name with sports complex and it not be there. I think it's premature. I think it's very easy to add it at a later time once we start building it. That's just my thought.
And so, yeah, so just to get some more input, yeah, where are some other ones? So Mayor Kiefer is looking at Hillview Park.
I could live with Hillview Park. I could do that.
And then you're also looking at Heritage Park.
If that's what,
BPA Park.
The what?
Isn't there two of them, BPA Park and Heritage Park blocks? Aren't they both blocks?
So the concept is all along BPA.
Okay.
Concept from Laurel Lane, possibly to Tower Road, but it would be all under BPA. The first one right now is that one.
That one. Right
I could even live with, I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but Heritage Park East and Heritage Park West. I mean, I could live with
there.
that.
I
I've
think
seen
that
that
actually makes a lot
before.
more sense.
No, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense.
Well, okay, what's gonna be the difference between Heritage Trail and Heritage Park? Oh, it's not on there.
It's just Heritage Park.
The
So
question is, we're spending a lot of, some extra time and effort on Heritage Trail to go through from here into here to march over to.
correct.
wherever. This makes you think that that's gonna be part of that route.
And that is a possibility, correct?
Then if it's a possibility, then somebody needs to say so. I wouldn't think that you should name it Heritage Park if you think it's really Heritage Trail. I think you need to decide where Heritage Trail goes, because you know, that doesn't just involve the city, that involves.
Which they're gathering input. But yeah, when we have done this, it has been some of the input we've given that yes, why not have it come up here and have it go all along the BPA out to Tower Road as a possible location. Again, that is a county thing. What they end up doing, we're just giving suggestions. So, and I'm not sure where that is.
The parks, the Heritage Trail concept plan is being converted to a master plan. That's the process, the planning process the county is in. As I understand it, that's supposed to be ready for adoption by this coming spring. But the concept or the master plan will identify the Heritage Trail at Main Street and the BPA turning west as it comes in to Boardman from the east side. It'll follow the current route and come down Main Street, and then at the BPA line, the plan is to have the trail turn west and stay under the BPA line out to Tower Road. So yes, the end result could be the Heritage Trail traveling through Heritage Park.
On the west,
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily the east. Okay, so we're looking at Hillview Park. That's kind of some input. No other really input on Tatone Park or anything in River Ridge. And then some mixed feelings about Heritage Park, whether, right?
It should be named something else, or east-west, or.
Okay.
The more blocks just needs to go.
And then maybe some conversation with the park committee of what happens if it doesn't become part of Heritage Trail.
Okay.
We would still want it to be all heritage if it's not part of the trail.
So those are the two
Does that
main.
make sense? Is that
It would be really good if it was part of the Heritage Trail, because before it went up here and went off, I mean, this would make it a nice walking trail for quite a distance. So
Naming it,
I just can't see. If you have a name that means two different things. You know what I'm saying, like,
it could be confusing, especially if, I mean, in this day and age, you're using the internet, trying to find stuff.
They do,
Other apps that track like trails and mountain hiking and all sorts of stuff or whatever, and so probably having, I get what you're saying, having them kind of be in similar name.
But naming it, would that help build it? Maybe it will come.
I mean, really.
Again, I see what you're saying, because it's not the Heritage Trail. Oh, yeah, I mean, Heritage Trail Park, that's all of it? Or you're saying, because it could be a little confusing, because Heritage Trail is,
It's gonna be
Just
big.
the trail itself.
yeah, right, so, though, that's some great.
Maybe we just come up maybe with a
Different name because of the confusion factor.
Some great input. So mainly those two things, we can go and take that back to the
Just call it the Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail Park.
Just Oregon Trail.
Trail.
and then on Oregon Trail
Yeah,
Road.
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, or no. Oh, that's great input. We can-
Any other input? Oregon Trail.
Because people will be looking for ruts.
So is there some sense of what you think you're looking for? Well, if not Heritage Park, is there some other? I mean, that was the recommendation of the PAC for the Parks Master Plan. We are attempting to get to a draft Parks Master Plan so that we can, and we'd like to name the parks in the plan so that they're referenced there. If I'm out of line, let me know, but for those that you're comfortable with, could we adopt the resolution with some amendments and move as part of this forward and then bring something else back to refine one of the other options?
Actually, I
think it all should go back to the committee and they should fix it, and then we'll just do it all together at one time.
I think that would be the best, and maybe they could come up with a different idea or a different name with the feedback that's been given. I think that would be, I think council's kind of would like just to kick it back and say,
Okay, all the other ones are fine. The main thing is the or this Hillview Park. Okay, Hillview Park is something, and then something different that's maybe not heritage.
because we're not in a hurry, are we?
I mean,
Yes,
To get it done.
to some degree. But
Okay.
if you wanted to go back to the PAC, they will be meeting the end of this month. And we'll get a secondary recommendation and put it in front of you next meeting.
Yeah, that would be good, I think.
Carla, and the ones for River Ridge, if there is a possibility that there's only gonna be 3 and you have 4 names, maybe they could also have their discussion about,
Which one not to use?
yeah, the top 3, and then the 4th one could be the name that they use for the other park if they decide that. Right? Like,
Oh, maybe you're thinking maybe apply it to, instead of Heritage Park, maybe use that fourth one for that?
we might want to do that. I don't.
Okay. We can have, thank you. That's a good suggestion. I appreciate that very much, Counselor. Thank you.
Well, and I thought that we named streets, like the street names over there are bird names. And so I see the only bird name on here is meadowlark. You know, because we've got sparrow and.
Falcon Cord.
Yeah, I mean, there's.
No, there's another, let me find my document. Pajaro Azul Park is, that's a Bluebird, yes, that's Bluebird Park. And then there's Meadowlark Park. Parque Los Niños is, Children's Park. And then Bladen Park was for the first homesteader in Boardman.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. We'll. Yep, we'll send it back. Cool, thank you.
All right. Resolution 25-2, actually, let's just say that again. Resolution 25-2025, personnel policy. Resolution, yeah, I said that already.
Cool.
Read the
Title, and I did, but it's the same. Okay.
Okay, there's just 2 minor changes that were made. So it's 4.8 de minimis benefits. What that does is it allows the city to purchase food for staff. It also allows council members to have food purchased for them because it's so minimal. It's de minimis. That is the language. And then the other thing that we brought up was we added Christmas Eve as a holiday, and that's in 7.9. So those are the only two changes.
I move to approve resolution 25-2025, a resolution adopting a personnel policy and repealing resolution 3-2025.
Second that.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, appoint CREZ 2 members. Currently, we have appointed Karen Pettigrew, myself, and alternate Heather Baumgartner.
There's just one more above that LOC.
Business
Oh,
meeting.
At the top.
Oh, I skipped. I thought we were just on that. Okay, LOC business meeting, October 4th, 2025. I need a voting delegate.
Yep, this will be, so we have the conference that is October 2nd through the 4th, and someone will be attending on Saturday. We just need a vote for one person who will be there Saturday to be the city's voting.
You'll be there?
Anybody opposed to having Heather being the voting delegate?
All right, thank you.
Can I have a motion?
You need a motion?
I move to appoint Heather Baumgartner as the voting delegate for the LOC business meeting on October 4th.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, now we're going to the CREZ members. Do we want to wait until the other two are here? I mean, we have 5 here. Or should we?
I am interested in the CREZ 2 position.
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
I think it might be good to wait.
And have a full council? That's what I was thinking. Is just wait, put it on our agenda for next month.
We can do that. Yes, you guys all want that?
Maybe best.
There's 2,
3, 4.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mayor, may I ask a question? We do have a CREZ meeting September 9th, so are you okay with having the same delegates for that meeting? Is that?
Well, that's what that would mean. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So I just
since we
want-
wouldn't change, the same delegates would be on the. So when it's not like we're giving out money.
Yeah.
Like the December one.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, we'll put that on next month's agenda.
yeah, I would suggest we put that on there and then we'll have all 7 of us be able to get input. I think that's fair.
Cool. That's great.
OLCC, local government recommendation liquor license, Sol Azteca LLC.
So this is just simply a name change. Correct? They just changed their name.
So what is their current liquor license? They just sell beer and wine and then they want to serve it in the facility?
They're an existing sell, they're just changing the name they're going from,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm asking. What is their current
Yeah. I mean,
license?
I do not. Off the top of my head. I think they just still bear in mind.
Is it? I thought the address was on Kincaid.
It is.
What is
it is
So
a-
if it's-
This yellow.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
that
can
one.
go sit down in there and have beer or wine.
You just sell it on the shelves.
It's
That's why I'm asking.
Limited on-premise sales.
So what does that mean? Does it mean that they're serving it there, or does it mean they're selling it there? Cause there's a difference.
No, it made you think they were serving it.
It does say indoor consumption, proposing to allow minors.
Yeah, and that, they marked that box allow minors with that funny little square in the middle, which I assume meant from certain hours.
And I don't think that's the original license. I think the original license was they just sold beer and wine out and don't serve it there.
Yeah.
So this isn't just a name change.
Correct. Chief, does this sound familiar at all? No? So, I mean, it does say new license application, so
That's not a name update then.
correct. Proposed.
And it does say indoor consumption. They did check that box.
And it was.
Can I read the email that I received? So the company that is handling the application for the owner, I just found the email, they have changed their name to Sol Azteca, and they are currently wanting to change their liquor license to a limited on-premise sale. So that is new.
So what, because we approved this one, no, it was the whole general. That's why I wanted clarification, because there it is a different license altogether.
Because I didn't know I thought it was takeout, but you couldn't drink it in that building out there.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to.
They're
do,
applying so they can.
In their,
Right.
in their building.
Would that mean they're gonna be like a bar?
I think it's gonna be very similar to C and D where they have beer and pizza.
Oh,
But I guess,
so what do we care?
well, I guess my question is we should probably make sure that they understand that, you can't serve hard alcohol because that's a different license as well. And then if you get caught doing that, that's a big deal.
Correct, and I'm not, I mean, so the protocol is like chief, they go to you for review, correct? And then from you, it goes to the council when they're new,
If it's a new license, it's usually granted by the council. If it's
and it
a
goes straight.
off premise license for an event or something, I usually review those. What I review is to make sure that they have no legal reason not to be able to have a license. And then we either recommend, grant, or acknowledge to OLCC. We can deny it and OLCC can say, no, they can have it. So those are our three options. We can acknowledge, recommend, or grant.
Okay, and I don't know who would go and teach.
That would be an OLCC.
Yeah.
So it would be them who are going, it's not the city that says, hey, by the way,
No,
just clarify.
but we would need to really understand, or I think what the councils wanting to know is exactly what their intent is.
Well, have you seen this application before?
I have not seen this one. I missed it somehow. So I just looked at it just now.
So like I said, just from my own experience, there are different licenses. And so I just want clarification just so that we know. Because it is different serving beer and wine or just selling beer and wine or serving hard alcohol. They're all different. And so you just want to make sure that you're not approving something that and maybe they don't understand that, hey, these aren't all the same. They're all different. That's why there's like 15 different ones on there.
Well, if they have a company doing their license, I don't see them doing hard liquor. I don't see it. That would be a hard thing with OLCC. As far as being consistent, what we did with C and D, maybe it would be in our best interest to have them come explain what they were gonna do. I mean, that might be a little extra step. Maybe OLCC really doesn't care. But I mean, if they don't have a problem of coming and presenting, like C and D did to help us understand, to, I don't know, make us feel better about it. We could do that. If their license is correct and they build in the boxes like they're supposed to, I'm also thinking,
Who am I to
saying
say
they
they can't
can't
do
they get the license, they're,
it? You know,
supervised by another agency to make sure that they're doing it right.
It is an interesting concept, having it presented in this manner.
Should I be worried about that, where they're gonna sit and all that other stuff? That, I don't think that's
No,
out of my scope.
no, I don't. What I'm saying is just.
No, I
making
wasn't
sure-
directing it
Yeah.
like that.
And just making sure that they understand that.
What they understand what they're selling.
Correct. Cause like I said, is there are different licenses, and if you click the wrong one, or we approve it and then they start selling something that they're not supposed to sell, that can be a problem.
Not for us, but it can be a
Huge problem for
them, and they would suck if they think that, oh yeah, this means I can sell everything, and then they start selling it. And then they get caught, they're gonna lose their license and they're gonna have a huge fine.
But that's out of our scope. If you know what I mean, that's out of our jurisdiction. I mean, I see where he's concerned about it. I do get that, but that's not us.
Yeah,
That's on them.
You're not enforcing it,
And-
and certainly if.
And it's not our job to make sure that they understand what they can and can't do.
No, I get what you're saying.
It's always came to the police chief first. I think that's what the problem here is. That it goes to the police chief, they look to see if there's any criminal history or whatever. Then he says, no, it looks good. City council, you want to pass it? I think we're making a big deal out of probably pretty near nothing. If he'd have had a chance to look at it to begin with, he could have given us a recommendation that he'd seen nothing in the application where it's new. And we could have said, no.
So is that what you want to do, is just kick it to chief and figure it out?
That's his job.
I get that, but it didn't
think
come
we-
that way.
Yeah. And I think we.
It didn't come that way. And so that's why I'm saying, do we want to just give it to chief and investigate it and figure out that they're doing it right?
So this is being proposed as a new liquor license. In the past, the council has reviewed the liquor licenses if it's a new license. If it's a renewal, an off-premise license, an event license, I usually do those. The council's the one who has to decide if they want to grant a new liquor license or a new license, period. I don't quite, there might be some confusion. I think a simple conversation with the applicant to say, you've applied for a new license. Is your intent to get a new license, or is it a name change? And are you going to do on-premise consumption? Because there are a lot of rules when it comes to on-premise consumption, providing food and all the other things that have to come into play. They have to monitor ID requirements. And so I think a simple conversation with the applicant can really resolve the issue. And I apologize, I did not review the application prior to this evening. I don't know if I would have picked up that it was a new liquor license when they were asking for a name change, but we'll figure it out.
Okay,
We'll take it.
sounds good. All right, thank you. Yeah, chief will come back with his recommendation.
I do want to say just a comment to that as well about they do have kind of outdoor seating, like benches and whatnot, but our last city council meeting, when I left, it was dark. And, there was a lot of kids playing right here on this playground, and it's completely dark. But at that hour, there was still a lot of kids playing, and across the street is where this is located, and it's also really dark. Just a comment.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
Good. Rather than take another 30 days to review this, if this is something they're trying to do, if I find that everything's within line, I would ask that you just authorize me to follow through with the granting or acknowledging the permit on behalf of the city and give it time, unless it's a new license.
Well, it does say that, that we would authorize you to complete the recommendation. So does that mean that you could do what we're talking about?
After that,
And you can just say your name, even with us passing this resolution?
And I move to approve the OLCC local government recommendation for
License and authorize Police Chief Stokoe to complete the recommendation for Sol Azteca LLC.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, so we'll jump down to our next part, other public comment. It's an invitation for public comment. Public comment period is an essential part of local government meetings, and our council strongly takes community input into consideration. However, in observance of Oregon open meeting laws, this isn't the time for dialogue, but rather a time for us to listen to you. Our city manager will direct staff to follow up with you regarding your comments or questions. Anyone may speak on any topic other than a matter in litigation, a quasi-judicial land use matter, or a matter scheduled for public hearing at some future date. Each person has, I'm going to give 5 minutes tonight to speak. When your name is called, proceed to the podium and speak clearly into the microphone. Begin by stating your name and address, and then express your view or offer your suggestion in a courteous and considerate manner. Remember to direct all remarks and questions to the council through the mayor. It is not appropriate to address the audience or the staff directly. Do I have any comments, public comments?
You do for Mr. Tallman.
Okay, Mr. Tallman.
Did you want to go? Okay.
All right, so I sent an email and I thought that was, and I guess I wanted to start off saying my correspondence with you is I wanted all that in the slideshow that I was going to present. But well, I sent the email to you and I was expecting that to be in the present of what I was going to show on here.
Oh, on the
Yes,
screen?
yes, so on the screen.
Supporting
So-
documents? Is he talking the supporting documents?
Not the 3 pages of supporting documents, the slideshow that was listed, slide 0, slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, and stuff like that. I was asking how to get that done so that it would just go smoother as far as the presentation, and also being noted, and then also linked on your webpage, because we are getting better. I mean, it was 538 pages for the city, and those type of things really help for the fluidity as far as getting things done, just like what you saw here with the Sol Azteca. Those little details are important. So I'd like to retain my time on just.
If we can find it, we won't.
Well, just as long as it's added to the record in the document, like I'm saying, through the attachment, through the website, I'll throw out my little pictures here that I had that you guys can reference. But that wasn't on the email then, Brandon? That I sent, that slide 1, slide 2?
An email?
I sent an email to Brandon saying, hey, I want all this information and documented as far as what was shown. And then all
Is that the same email that we had at the county court?
No, totally different one.
I don't know what you sent it to me.
Yeah, slide expert perspective, slide 1, Tucson example, slide 2 and 3, the Dallas example, slide 4, Boardman's water use.
And it's an email. We got an email on it.
No, he's saying he sent it to me.
Oh, did he send it to you?
I don't recall, but yes, I'm sure you did.
Yes.
Just resend it and we'll put it in.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure it's added to the record. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's just restart his time.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, please.
First of all, I just want to say, here in Boardman, we're in a great spot. I've lived in this town. It's basically went to high school here. Most of you all already know that. So the first is the slide that I have is an expert from a perspective named Sarah Jones. She works for NVIDIA. They're involved with AI. And the 3 questions that she asked were, and I'm going to use analogy here, and I'm going to call it lemonade. Okay, how much? And lemonade is substitute for water. How much lemonade are we giving out? How much is being lemonade is being returned or recycled, and how much is spilling on the ground or vanishing into thin air? These are questions we need to ask when it comes to water usage that we have. So the first example that I want to use is in Tucson, Arizona. It's Project Blue that just got denied by Tucson. They were going to spend $100 million on it. Go to More Perfect Union, watch the video. It's very informative as far as the process of how things work. The city told the customer, Amazon, that they couldn't take, any more lemonade if they wanted it. And they wanted to build their own private pipeline, 18 miles long, and to spend over $100 million on it. And they wanted to give back that water that they drank. The city made sure that they said that they stayed fair, transparent, at no cost to the taxpayers. It was ultimately denied by those people. The next one is over here in the Dalles, Oregon, where Google uses it. They use 366 million gallons of water, which is huge. In that one, they had to sue in order to get that information back. I mean, we're talking about all the little specifics like Sol and, Azteca getting this. These are specifics that we could do that makes a huge difference as far as how much water is missing and how much revenue is missing in the whole project. I'd love to see it looking at ourselves or our own side of the street of certain things as holding ourselves accountable. Well, here in Boardman, the Oregon ORWD, I'd have to look up the exact acronym for it. We can get up to 8.4 million gallons, billion gallons of water per year. We're only using about 22%, 1.865 billion gallons. According to Mike Lee, we were in the threshold of discrepancy, but based off that just discrepancy of being less than 10%, that is still almost a payment for our water bond that we could have made with that discrepancy. That's just something to look at. I don't know all those examples of what we're at, but it's just something to look at as far as, especially for me, because I pay a water bond tax on our property taxes each year. And if that discrepancy can pay for that missing amount of our water bond, let's have the person that's using 90 to 95% of that water pay for that. The next is, comparing the cities with Tucson, Arizona. They made the company buy the water and the pipeline. The city had to hide their numbers. At Boardman, because we are so lucky to live by the Columbia River here, let's not hide. Let's be transparent. Let's hold people accountable on these type of things. That is, especially, when I looked at the CIP, we asked for $295 million in ads for the city of Boardman. These are things that can go to fund it. If they're going to do 100 million to Tucson, I mean, we're pretty much there as far as ballpark figures. Now, I understand this is how some of this stuff gets paid for, but let's make sure that we ask and we're not hold ourselves short on what we could be asking for because of the natural resources that we have and the room for expansion based off we're only at 20%, 22% usage, which is really exciting to see as far as our usage level. And, those type of things need to be shown. I know you guys have all signed non-disclosures, or I believe most of you guys have signed non-disclosures. We need to be transparent about the non-disclosures that we signed with Amazon about those type of things and just say, hey, you know what? We have an issue with this because we're not able to disclose. And then this is costing our constituents and taxpayers money. I brought up at the last meeting that Mr. Mayor talked about, we shouldn't ask for any more school bond money, anything for the kids. It's sad that we can't ask from the biggest corporation that is paying us pennies on the dollar. If you look and compare it, and I can go to Georgia, I can go to Farmington, Minnesota, I can go to Peculiar, Missouri, I can go to all these other different spots, and these people are holding them accountable, and a lot of them are saying no. A lot of them are saying no. And again, all I'm asking is that we get our value back. And that to me is the saddest part, is that we're going to be nitpicky about this little small business, which we should. But when it comes back to us being nitpicky when it comes to our water usage, let's not be like a government bureaucracy entity. Let's hold ourselves accountable and say how much is really missing and how much is really being metered on this. And
Statement.
yes, any final statement? Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate you guys listening. This isn't a criticism. This is just a lift up and encouragement because I want what's best for Boardman. I moved back for Boardman at this opportunity. And I, again, thank you guys for your time. Yeah.
What was said about,
We can't, it's not our time. Not in public comment. We really have to stay.
Karen, I really appreciate you asking. If we want to ask after the meeting, I would love to stick.
That would be the best, Mr. Tallman.
Thank you. Thank you
You
very
bet.
much. Yes, thank you for asking.
I'm working on trying to hold us accountable to listen and not respond.
I want to respond. I wanted to ask what one of his.
You're responding with a question. So, thank you, Mr. Tallman. lost my spot. All right, so there any other public comments? Not seeing any. So we'll go right to the, make sure I'm on the right spot. Police report, September 2025.
In your packet, you should have gotten the month-end report for August. As you can see, our total has dropped a little bit, but so is our staffing levels. We do have an officer that went to Hermiston on the 22nd of this month. So we are in the process of background on that position. We hired 2 other officers that one is at the academy and one will soon be leaving for the academy. Hopefully that will get us back up to staff. Are there any questions?
So we don't currently have any openings.
Not now. And let's hopefully keep it that way.
Any questions?
Even though you just asked one thing.
Any other questions? All right, so hearing none, we'll jump to committee reports, the holiday decorating committee.
So I'm presenting for the holiday decorating committee, and our budget currently is 50,000. And for Main Street City Center Circle lamppost, they have already purchased and received snowflakes and candy canes to go on the lampposts on South Main and City Center Circle. They've spent approximately 21,000 there. Interstate intersections, off ramps and on ramps, they're doing string lights and happy holiday signs. And spent about 5,000 on the happy holidays, and the string lights is more like 11,000 because they're also doing that for the city circle. 1,100. Okay. Oh, it's a lighted tree. That's what I was gonna, okay. And a 26-foot lighted tree for city circle. And that was the 11,000. And other items were forest of trees, maybe a lighted car for the city circle, but that might change since it's shrinking. And talk of maybe creating a village, sort of like the Festival of Lights in Hermiston has, around the City Hall Park. And proposing the question of whether the council would consider future funding to continue to grow and develop this as the Main Street develops all the way down, and there'll be more lights to do, and adding to the possible City Hall Park Festival of Lights sort of thing. And the current budget, there's about 11,000 left to move with, so. Is that it? Okay. Thank you.
So you need more money.
I think that would be a good thing to keep funding this. I think that was the
goal.
Yeah.
Maybe 50,000 is not enough.
And I should have noted that doing all the purchasing this time of year, they've been getting really good discounts on those items. So like half off for the good prices. And that gives you an idea how much those things normally cost. It's crazy.
Did we have a housing advisory committee?
Bobby Barnes is online.
Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Good. So my name's Bobby Barnes. I'm a member of the Boardman Housing Committee. Normally Nathan Wildfire would be here, but he's, I believe, on a honeymoon/vacation, just got married. So he asked that I'd fill in for him. And I've got a few updates for the Boardman Housing Committee. Get my notes. Okay, so Housing Committee overview. It's made up of several community members of Boardman, and then 3 city council members who are here: Brenda Profit, Karen Pettigrew, and Richard Rockwell. We're also supported by the Missing Middle Housing Fund, which represented by Nathan Wildfire. So far, we've met in June, July, and August, and I'm here to discuss what we've gone over in those meetings. Current project updates that we have. Our first project recommended by the Housing Committee was to implement a zoning digitization technology from a company called Urban Form. And this program would cover everything on the Housing Committee's agenda and then the entire city as well. It'd be public access. Urban Form Technology, their company simplifies the understanding of what can and cannot happen on any piece of parcel land in city limits and outside of it. And we started that back in August. It's about halfway complete and should go live in October, early November. And funding for it is separate from the Housing Committee funds that are available. Excuse me. Next, we're bringing our first spending recommendation to the City Council for the Housing Fund. The committee would like to recommend spending up to $50,000 for a comprehensive real estate development master plan. The 50,000 to get started. We're not sure what the total estimated cost will be, but probably at least 100,000 for the master program. This would be represented by initial funding for the committee, and this would act as our first committed dollars. The Housing Committee also plans to help raise remaining funds via employers, philanthropy, public grants, etc. The purpose of this master plan is to provide a market-based vision to align landowners, developers, city departments, and funders. Also to build on to an ongoing committee workforce and guide projects and prioritizations and implementations. The Housing Committee will also develop a scope of work for the master plan, and that includes developing sustainable framework for Boardman, growth in prioritizing and attainable housing, balanced land use through housing, parks, businesses, etc., coordinating with zoning, transportation, and parks planning. It will also help preserve Boardman's small town culture and history, including realistic timelines, phasing plans, and prioritizing city-owned sites, market forces, and infrastructure. In recap, we do have our first committee recommendations, which I covered just a little bit ago. We'd like the City Council to approve up to $50,000 to initiate the master plan. And we would also ask that empower the Housing Committee to finalize the scope of work and community engagement process. And that's what we have so far.
So when you ask for the funds, you're going to bring a presentation? Is that or is this the presentation for requesting funds?
This would be a request that I would assume that a further presentation, once this gets finalized, would come into play.
It just didn't seem like a presentation to request. It sounded like a report, but if it's a request for funds, what's the council? Because we
Like I said, I'm filling in for Nathan right now, so I've got some bullet points that I'm covering. I apologize for it being shorthanded, but at this time, with the notice that I had, it's as much as I can come up with.
No, you're doing great. You did exactly what you needed to do.
Right, I just was lost a little bit on what the expectation was from us.
So
now I understand. It was like I was listening to a voice talking to me from God. So
I prefer Bobby.
From the sky, I'll call it the sky. So does anybody have a motion?
Do we need a motion? Probably need a motion.
To approve funds for spending? Who's requesting 50 to 100,000? Just 50?
Just 50.
And this is of their existing.
Million.
How would we word it? I move that we approve their request for $50,000 for the
Up to 50.
housing,
Master plan,
the housing advisory committee,
master plan,
master plan.
and I second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. You have that, Amanda?
We have a recording.
You have a recording. Is there any additional discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. So we'll jump back up to our building department report.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bobby.
Good evening, everybody. We continue to be kind of flat right now. There's not a lot of projects coming down other than Amazon. They're keeping us very busy. I'm hoping that it'll pick up pretty soon. It's not like we're slow. It's just that we're not swamped like we usually are. So busy, not so much. Our numbers are kind of slow. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Anybody have any questions?
We have no new home construction from July 23rd to August 22nd.
Yeah. Yeah.
We placed 16 manufactured homes.
Well, we have a manufactured home park going in off of Coonsey. Yeah.
And River Ridge.
So they
And
placed
Pearl
them
Maine,
yet?
Yes.
they have several placement permits, and they've got a lot of them set up, but I've not done any inspections yet.
So are they all single wide homes?
They're all single wide homes, and a lot of them are duplex homes.
So none of the so the single wides are divided into 2 units?
Yeah, a lot of them are. Most of them are. There are
And
about
then-
400 square foot units. Say again?
Well, my other question was, where is everybody gonna park? Cause I went down there and it didn't look like there was any parking.
The current manufactured home park code requires 2 parking spaces per space. Duplex manufactured homes are pretty new. They're just got approved by HUD. And so the manufactured home park code is from 2002. It's being updated right now as we speak. So the manufactured home park code hasn't really kept up with the times. So the only thing we have is to require 2 per manufactured home space, regardless if it's a single family dwelling or a 2-family dwelling.
So can we anticipate, so when I heard that they were getting split into 2. And there's only supposed to be 2 parking spots per unit. I would assume that there will be double the occupancy. And wouldn't it require double the amount of parking? I mean, will it become a safety issue with that amount of parking and that little of space?
So the short answer is no, we don't have a code that requires more. The code that we're applying is the manufactured home park code, and it doesn't speak to dwelling units. It speaks to a manufactured home space. So that's all we really have to hang our hat on. The theory is, and this will be fine for a long time, the theory is that most of these homes are already spoken by First Coast Security, and they're going to be 1 person per half of a duplex. And so maybe 2 people, so they might have 2 cars. I mean, 400 square feet is not a lot of square feet. But
no.
in the future, we don't know what's gonna happen.
In Glen, isn't there additional parking too?
Yeah, there's guest parking. They have a minimum requirement of guest parking, which is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 12 parking spaces. They have parking spaces at that shop there. They're gonna build, they're not gonna build, they're gonna remodel that shop into the office and into a laundromat. And they've got 8 or 9 parking spaces there. They've met all the minimum ADA parking. They've met all the minimums, just.
Thank you.
So I think, this is just my opinion, since we have a new park coming in, it's probably in our best interest to have discussion about addressing parking issues for that area. I mean, they're the ones that sprung on that, hey, we're gonna bring in these homes and now we're gonna split them. I don't believe they told anybody about that. I for sure wasn't told that when they came and said they're gonna build that park there. But I know that according to manufacturer, what they're doing for mobile homes, they can do that. But there's also, we can address the parking issue so we don't have a Bella Vista issue either. We don't have a Wilson Trailer Park issue to where we might need to start addressing these parking issues for these new developments that are coming in. So it's not wall-to-wall cars, even though they say it's not going to be wall-to-wall cars.
No, it will be wall-to-wall cars. There's only 4, 5, 6, 7 places for 7 cars to park on the street, because all the rest of the street is driveways. So it's basically going to be
Street is driveway?
Pardon me?
So I guess when I bring up the topic about safety, I look at like, you bring up good points, the Wilson Trailer Court, with the recent fire. I look at it as if that fire would have jumped just a little bit further, all of those people would have been displaced because they're all old manufactured homes. Parking's just, they're on top of each other and nobody would have been able to get out of it. And, I don't know if we want to create another scenario where that could potentially happen. Especially when they're gonna be right next to a really dry field.
See, this kind of frustrates me because I remember a person wanting to build a RV park over on Front Street. And this person, we didn't like the concept that he had. And this person presented a concept and changed it all, in my opinion. If I had known that 2 parking spots for each place was going to be on the street, that's unacceptable for me. And I think we could have done something.
They're on the street.
You just said their parking lots are on the street.
There's only
The required parking for each space is off-street. Guest parking is on-street.
And there's only 7
7 available.
locations that you can't, because everything else has a driveway. You can't block the driveway.
And I just misunderstood that. I just think we're gonna have a serious car issue there. And I think we invited a monster to really fester and create another, hopefully that it's not. Let's just put it that way. I'll leave it at that.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, Brenda.
Glenn,
Brenda had it first. Then you.
I'm sorry, Karen. Glenn, how difficult would it be to adjust the manufactured home rules around setbacks and driveways?
No, manufactured home park code has a big chunk that gives a lot of authority to the planning department. So we could set development code around manufactured home parks and require more than what the park code requires. Absolutely.
So is
I
that
I would hold off and wait. They're supposed to have the new code out by the end of this year. And before we make a lot of changes, it would be good to see what the state has come up with.
that was my question. Is the state gonna get a new code out? So,
Yeah, they're working on it right now.
So if they're already placing homes and then something gets changed, or we decide, it sounds like maybe we can decide to change something so that maybe we feel like it's not such a safety issue, what happens then? If they're
I-
homes.
It would be difficult to change this approval at this point in time.
And then there's 16 permits.
That were issued, but the total in that, park was gonna be how many? How many, units, how many mobile homes?
The original approval? Or the existing approval?
What's allowed right now?
What are they planning to put in? number.
72 spaces.
72 spaces, and so that's not counting the ones that they've split in half. Those are counting as one.
The majority of them are duplexes. There'll be 129 dwelling units when they're done.
And have those all been permitted? No.
No,
All
not
the
yet.
16?
But the park has been approved. We did
So then we
bring,
would-
we brought the developer back to the table and did ask for some more. I know the planning department asked for trip generation calculations. But
So they
yeah,
want-
so out of the 72 trailers, 15 of them are single family homes and the rest are duplexes.
So they wanna put 129 units in that small little piece.
So think of it, it's 70,
It's not-
72 trailers are gonna be there. You will see 72 trailers.
Right.
Yep.
Yes, 53 of them are yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is a point where when you bring a plan in, and you bring those photos in, you need to keep a copy of them in our left pocket. And then when they come and ask to redo something, you drag out the original plans and look at them. Because I don't think this is what,
They were required to bring the revised plan to planning commission. And the planning commission approved it.
but I don't, there's a difference between a plan that you draw some lines on a piece of paper. There is definitely a difference when you come to somebody with a photo and the big sales pitch. You know, I paid $50 to get somebody to make this sales pitch for me. And then and that's what I got, we got the sales pitch. And they got the planning department in a bad spot.
I won't disagree with that.
Thank you.
Is there any recourse at this point, Glenn, for the remaining trailers that haven't been permitted? Or is the land already platted, or rather than platted, but already set up with the underground work, electrical?
Yeah, so the developer has installed all the infrastructure. So all the sewer lines, all the water lines, all the power lines for each of the 72 are already in place. So to reduce the amount now would cost, not that should matter, but it would cost a developer a lot of money.
Any other questions?
I think, Glenn, part of my heartburn about this is that when we were told about this, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, the idea of the trailer parks was to get some middle income housing at a lower price point than the River Ridge houses were, and to make that accessible to the working families in Boardman. And now it feels like, not that this is a bad thing, but it just feels like a different setup, that this is for secure, what was the name of the company? First Coast
First
Security.
Coast Security.
Mm-hmm. For Amazon, and doing something that's maybe less than what we were told we were going to get when they first came to us with the ideas. So that's the heartburn I have over the current situation.
And the comment that I had is I had
looked into that for an elderly couple to possibly rent a 2-bedroom, and it's $1,800 a month for a 2-bedroom single wide out there, and that is not affordable.
Well, and originally, I think they were supposed to be able to buy the land, and then they turned around and said, nope, we're gonna rent it now, so nobody owns anything. So I guess my thing is like what Brenda's saying is, they came in and they said, this is what we're gonna do, and then the minute it got approved, we're like, nope, we're not gonna do that, and they pulled the rug out from everybody's feet, and we're stuck holding the bag on this. I mean, 120, you said 129 units?
Yes.
And I believe that the duplexes are just studio apartments on each end.
Yeah, they just cut them in half. They live in a garage.
And they'll be transient. Who lives in a 400-foot size home for any length of time?
So the concept is, this is worker housing, and as long as it's privately owned, the entire park, I don't think there'll be much of a problem, because it will be mostly workers. It's the future that is unknown.
Well, we have to think about the future too.
Agreed.
Thanks, Glenn.
Yep.
All right, Planning Department report.
Sorry, I'm was expecting Public Works to go next.
Oh, I skipped it. We've kind of been jumping around, so.
That's okay. That's okay. It just took me a minute to unmute and get caught up. You've got my written report. Happy to answer any questions on that. In addition to the conversation you were just having, your frustrations, I understand them, but it's not us who write the manufactured home park development code. That's the state. And in some respects, it's that particular one is not even our legislature. It comes from a kind of a federal oversight relative to how building codes. Glenn can certainly explain that larger structure better than I can. He works with it, but that code comes, the state refines it, makes the changes they want, and then it gets adopted by the legislature, and on we go. So your conversation is maybe it's an LOC issue to elevate that to the legislature. What I will share about duplexes more generally, and I didn't know this until just recently, the legislature has made a lot of changes around housing over the past, probably 5 years that's applicable in almost all situations to cities larger than 2,500 people, which Boardman is. And so there's a number of changes that are going to be coming through as we work on updating the development code and the comp plan. There are going to be a number of changes that come through, and we're going to be compelled to adopt them because we have a population over 2,500, and there are some things that we don't really have any input in. The legislature has already said this is how it shall be. And so the question about parking and duplexes, that frustration, you're going to find the legislature has said that applies to duplexes on single family lots as well. And they've also said that if you allow a single family lot, you have to allow a duplex with no additional review. And that duplex doesn't have to have any more parking allocated to it than the single family dwelling would. So even though you're doubling the number of people that might live on that lot in those 2 units. Oh, and they've also changed the definition of a duplex. A duplex does not have to be attached. A duplex can actually be detached. So in essence, you're putting 2 homes on a single family lot. And the way the law is written, that if you require 2 parking spaces for a single family dwelling, you can only require 2 parking spaces for that lot. This isn't me telling you this. This is what the legislature has done. So I understand your concerns, but I just, given the conversation, and some of the things I've learned as I've been reading through some of the information that the consultant teams have been providing to us, it's kind of taken me by surprise just how much legislative action has happened over the past 5 years on the housing topic, and how much of it is put more houses in more space, or in the same space, put more houses in the same space, and if that doesn't work, then put more houses in less space. And by the way, there are these additional things that you can't mitigate for. So I guess Glenn and I, to some degree, are bearers of bad news tonight. Anyway, that it's been a real eye-awakening process for me to kind of see everything that's happened relative to statute changes. Again, the last 5 years around housing. But anyway, you have my report, and if you have any questions about anything that's in it, I'm happy to answer that. The Planning Commission did take action earlier this month. They did approve the wireless installation on the city water tower. We could find no evidence that it was ever permitted with the required conditional use permit. So that went before the Planning Commission this month, and now we're going to approve the modification, which will be an administrative decision by staff next. And they want to make some modifications to the equipment on the tower. So that's happened. I think the other thing I would draw your attention to is goats as lawn and ground maintenance personnel. We didn't add goats to our code. We didn't allow a provision for goats, but goats have arrived in town. We got some inquiry about that. They've not been brought in as livestock. They're not being milked. They're not being butchered. So they're not livestock. They've been brought to town to serve as ground maintenance personnel. So we've talked internally about that. If you have any thoughts about the comment in the report, please feel free to reach out to myself or Brandon. We'd be happy to talk with you about that. And then the last thing that I need to ask is for the November council meeting, which would be on November 4th. I have a consultant. That's the date that we had originally targeted for the public hearing for the TSP update in front of the city council. We have a consultant, a member of the consultant team with a personal conflict. I think it's a work conflict. He will be out of state. So I'm asking if you all would consider having either moving the November meeting date or preferably holding a second meeting with the express purpose of the TSP public hearing. Keeping it on Tuesdays, either November 11th or November 18th. And if we could get some kind of, we're going to need to do notice soon. So if we could get some kind of confirmation tonight or over the next couple of days of what might work, that would be very much appreciated. And I just raise this because there are going to be several things that are going to be coming your way over the next 2 or 3 months. We're going to have the Parks Master Plan, the EOA, and the TSP. And all of those are going to go through a hearings process in front of both the Planning Commission and the City Council. So I am concerned that we're going to kind of gum up your schedule a little bit with a number of public hearings. And so the potential to add one might just relieve some pressure. To add a date might relieve some of the pressure on some of the other nights. So appreciate your consideration of adding a special meeting. And again, the 11th of November or the 18th of November. And the 18th of November would be the third Wednesday, which used to be back in the day when you guys met potentially for a second meeting, it was usually the third Tuesday.
I can do the third Tuesday, the 18th.
The 11th is Veterans Day.
Veterans Day, yeah.
I can do the 18th.
Oh, right. The 11th would be Veterans Day. I hadn't thought of that. Yes. So the 18th. Yes.
So the 18th is the date that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Doing
November 18.
For the hearing, public hearing.
For TSP.
Yes.
TSPC, regular city council meeting on the 4th.
Yes. So it would be a special meeting for the predominantly the TSP public hearing If anything else, if any other business needed to be happened, yeah. So we can tentatively move forward with the 18th.
Yeah, I can do the 18th. I might not be in person.
Looks like the consensus is yes.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. That'll keep us moving along.
And I just have one comment about the goats. They did a great job. They cleaned it up really nice, way less of a fire hazard. And all the yacht club was down there. They really appreciated the goats as well.
Well, goats get deployed a lot of places in our region. Hepner uses them on the dam, the face of the dam. Pendleton brings them in for the river walk. I mean, they do a good job. I don't know how well they get paid, but you know, they do a good job. So
Yeah, the goats got paid very well.
Yes, he did. But they did not like the fireworks.
probably not.
He
Oh,
said
they hated
he said that they were used to it. And it
Oh,
wouldn't be
no.
no big.
They ran. I was there.
I was just getting the owners of the goats of what he said, so I was a little different.
Yeah. I just have to wonder if on a particular day a few weeks ago, if goats were being used instead of other equipment, if a different outcome might have happened. So goats might be a way to help us manage some of those vacant lots as well that we have in town. So
Yes. Thanks, Carla.
thank you.
Yeah. All right, Junior.
Okay, you have my report. Lots of things going on, busy. So any questions?
I do, but just a minute, let me get to them.
I had one question for you,
Okay.
and it's only because I keep calling you about it. It's that manhole cover right on the corner of Willow Fork cul-de-sac. How can we keep that down? Every time I pass.
Gonna
it,
have to be cut the asphalt and reform the whole top of that lid, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah. So we appreciate you letting us know so we can go back and put it back in place. Where is this? On Willow Fork.
It's on the cul-de-sac of Willow Fork whenever.
There's a car that comes around the corner a little sharp, a little early there, and when the tire goes over it, it flips the corner of it up.
Are we repaving that? Is that part of, or is that gonna be
It's gonna be a while.
It'd be a while, but yeah.
but that's not, is that part of the,
No, okay.
No, it's on.
it's not where we're gonna go and put the overlay or dip seal?
Seal.
It doesn't go down far enough.
Yeah, it doesn't go that far.
It's around the corner where the cul-de-sac is.
Almost to Dieter's house.
Almost, it's about halfway down.
Yeah.
And either a small child or someone's, and it is involved.
We'll go take a look at it again and see if there's something we can do underneath of it, but yeah, I mean, it sits there nice. I mean, when you walk on it, you don't even know it's there. It's just the weight of a vehicle when it hits it. Coming around the corner, the way it rolls it, it just kind of spins it up and. Yeah, but since I've been here, I put it back 3 times. So it's.
And I called you twice.
Yep.
So it's an on purpose thing.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't say that necessarily. It's just to get into that cul-de-sac.
But I'm just saying on purpose, I'm hitting that. I mean, if I was a.
It's in the roadway. It's in the roadway.
Yeah, I mean, but if I knew that it could pop it up and make some noise.
Oh.
They might not.
I'd be afraid I'd mess up my car and
Yeah.
something, so I wouldn't try to do it, but.
Yeah, and they might not be aware that it does it when they drive over it. That it does it behind them. They're just not aware. I wanted to say thank you for paving the 2 patches on Front Street, Northeast Front Street, so that we don't blow a tire or something else worse. And then I wanted to ask if we have all of the meters in to do the radio reads.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, that's great.
I
I
don't-
wasn't too sure when the final date was on that.
I'll cut up on this, yeah.
Okay, great.
So when I see that you have bids for the bioswale. Biosolids. So when's that gonna be?
It happened last Thursday.
We'll talk.
Yeah,
We're doing that later.
Yeah. We only had one bid come in and it was not within scope. They wanted to do, they wanted to water dredge it. And it was about 3.5 times what we had budgeted, so.
So you didn't let it out? You're not gonna let it?
No, we're not
Hear
gonna.
you when you're back there.
So no, we had one bid come in and it was $3,750,000.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was well outside, and it was outside the scope of the.
We have a plan.
So we have a plan.
The crack seal bids going out.
They have gone out. They happened on Thursday as well. They were both the
Those are
same.
public meetings, aren't they? So how would I know that?
Because didn't I invite you?
At the last city
Yes,
council.
you invited me for sure.
I invited several to come and check it out.
I got one question.
At the last city council, we got the invite to go to the bid process, right?
I can't remember, but I can,
Still on track.
I don't know where we posted it. It's not on a calendar.
Maybe it's one of those phone things.
Well, and I'm gonna quit taking the EO, so no worries there.
Mr. Rockwell,
Are we still on track for, road construction here?
We're about a week back.
A week back?
Yeah. Should start paving on the 14th.
And then once that's complete, cause I'm assuming they're trying to finish up this roundabout expansion, whatever we're doing, before we start doing, or before they start doing Main Street.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, it'll all be, this whole loop will be all complete for the
So
main.
do you anticipate that it'll be done before it starts snowing?
Well, I'm not a weatherman and it sounds like we may have snow this year, so I don't know if I can do that. The bid went out with a end date of December 28th.
Oh, wow.
And that has never changed.
So that's how it's been.
It's always been December 28th. It is, right now, the current date is December 10th.
So obviously if it snows or something.
Early, yeah, it's been a while.
It could get pushed out. So what it is, so if it gets pushed out, then what? Because the only reason why I asked is because it is Main Street.
Yeah, absolutely. No, those are all legitimate concerns, and if I had my crystal ball, I'd tell you everything's gonna be okay. But I don't have that, so we're just, yeah.
So Mike has guaranteed that there will be asphalt. If you have, if they go past the December 28th, there is opportunities for the city to then charge a certain set amount every single day for them not meeting their requirement. And they are fully aware that their requirement is due on December 28th. They are fully aware that like doing asphalt gets a little tricky at the end of November. So that's their job, and
So we won't have the Columbia
potential.
Avenue
The
incident.
batch plants, here's the deal, the batch plants close in October. Now, you can put that December date down there, but you're not gonna get anybody probably the first of November, maybe first week.
no, they have the paving for November. I can't remember.
They got their fingers crossed.
But yeah, that's
We really need it. Keep that batch plant going.
thanks, Junior. All right, city manager report.
Okay, just real quick, the only thing I wanted to share is that we are relocating the recycle bins. That's gonna be Friday. So we're moving the recycle bins from the current location at the community garden, thank you, and we're gonna locate them right back here. So there is right next to the current cardboard, there's gonna be another cardboard, and then back behind by the retaining wall, we'll have 3. We have 2 cameras over there, so being able to monitor it. We're also looking at possibly doing a camera back on the lift station. If need be, if people can continue to pile up garbage, we'll put a camera there. Can't choose ever doing that.
This week, in the last week, really bad with.
It was horrible.
It was horrible is an understatement on what, in everything, there was.
You can't even, they're not.
It's not just a Boardman problem. Like if you go online, like every city complains about it.
Yeah, so the hope is, again, to clean it up, it's gonna be back here. Okay.
I have high hopes because the cameras will be able to help
Correct.
deter people from doing things they shouldn't be doing because they'll be seen.
Yep.
Their
And-
car will be seen.
And then just again, a big thank you. We had about 40 or 50 volunteers cleaning up on August 9th. They painted the gazebo, looks great. They went and did the concrete pads. We'll do more concrete pads. We have our new garbage cans. Those will be out throughout the city. I think we have 37 total that we'll have. So again, big thank you to those who came and did that. That's it.
Councilor
report, any council reports?
comments.
I just had one comment for, city manager. With regards to Sam Boardman, the reports I've heard from people in the community is that it's a lot nicer now that the staff isn't parking up front.
Okay.
Just comments that I've heard from people, it doesn't back up as much, and that's without the signs yet, because I don't think I've seen the signs yet.
It's just all back.
Discussion.
I'm glad as somebody that has a spouse that used to have to pick up kids there all the time. It's nice that that parking's there and it's not filled with pre-existing parking all the time, and then it's, yeah.
And just to clarify, the city of Boardman has nothing to do with their staff parking. The school, just to clarify, that it's up to the school to determine.
I have a comment now that I'm thinking about this manufactured home park that we were discussing a little bit. I know Carla and even Glenn mentioned, that some of this is kind of out of our hands, but I think even Karen said something like, I think before something like that happens again, because I worry about the safety. I worry about how it looks, it's whatever, but packing everybody in like sardines can't be a good deal, especially if there's an emergency. And so I think for future projects like this, especially if this individual that owns the property owns more property here and intends on doing, because I have heard rumors that he wants to do that at another piece of property that he owns, that we are very diligent, way more diligent than we were before, it seems like, and make sure that we know what we're getting into.
And remember, it was, approved through the planning commission. So the 72 was officially approved. All the specs that went along with that, it was. And that, again, that's just the process. If they would have been denied at the planning commission, then you guys would have been able to hear it, but they were.
The interesting thing about that, though, I know we're getting close to time before our executive
Session, but all the business has to do is follow the code that is presented to them. They get approved and they can do whatever they want to it once it's approved. Because, I can say I'm gonna put a building in, it's gonna be a commercial building. I don't have to tell you what building I'm putting in. It's a commercial building, I follow code, and I could put whatever I wanted in there as long as it fits the code that they have to adhere to. And so, it's nice to think that we could try to be really stringent on things. They can tell us what we want to hear. Bottom line is, they can change it as long as the code allows them to change it.
And so
It's tough stuff when that happens. Any other councilor comments?
Well, I want to go to the trailer park thing too, again. I also know that if it's not public streets, then it can't be policed as easily unless there's something that's done that's actively illegal occurring.
It's the public streets. We took it off.
They are public streets.
Okay.
That makes me feel better.
That is good to know.
Because there are parts of some trailer parks that are not public streets, and there are lots of problems that happen on that property. That's right.
I guess
Yes.
I attended the West Glen public meeting there. Mr. Hammond was there.
The Water Consortium.
No, the West Glen. They're two separate organizations. So you want to make sure that you know which one you're going to. Well, and I went to both, but I went to West Glen. There was a nice turnout of people from West Glen and from the surrounding area. I will say the county is highly promoting the city of Boardman at $30. And I am not excited about them taking that leap. Because we haven't gotten any kind of a figure from our survey that we're doing. And now they are going to be expecting to not have to pay more than the $30.
So
I don't know where that number came from because I pay more than $30 and I'm a resident of the city.
what,
Their minimum bill would be like, yeah, it's gonna be a headache. Let me just say that.
yeah, he did a calculation based on our current out of city water rate. And then calculated if you were to do 7,000 gallons, your bill would be that. Now, he did emphasize that the city is doing a rate analysis and this is going to change, but you're right. And yeah, so 35 or something.
Well, I'm frustrated with it too, because I talked to Merkley's Jessica Keith.
The state is already telling us what we're doing. That we're providing water. And that the expectation is the city of Boardman provide water. It's important that they have fresh water, but there's a lot more to that. And I told Jessica Keys, I said, you're telling people that city of Boardman's providing water and the council hasn't made a decision yet.
And she was there that night too.
And the council has said, we think it's important to have quality water. But how you get that? That's the discussion that we have to have and what the price is going to be.
The people were very, they were nice. They conducted themselves well. I mean, nobody was, shouting and carrying on. Only one little time somebody might have booed or something, and the room was packed. So I think probably this next time. And the next meeting's in October.
I thought there was another one in September.
Well, it's September already, I guess. I don't know. The months are going by too fast.
In terms of that, there will be another meeting. I'm pretty sure it's October 4th. I wouldn't quote me. It's the first week of October though, for getting community feedback.
Yeah. Anyway, we need to stay on top of that.
I have no comments. So we'll go right into our executive session. The Boardman City Council will now meet in executive session pursuant to the following: ORS 192.6602I, which allows the council to review and evaluate the employment-related performance of the chief executive officer of any public body, a public officer, an employee, or staff member who does not request an open hearing. Representatives of the news media or designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session in person. The public virtual Zoom meeting will be closed during the executive session, as permissible executive session meetings are not subject to House Bill 2560. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said about these subjects during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, we'll return to open session. The executive session is expected to last 30 minutes. Action is planned after we resume the council meeting. So I pause this meeting. Okay, I will resume the meeting. And we have just exited our executive session and we're here to make a decision. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the city manager evaluation with some adjustments to the formatting so that all of the comments could be read.
We have formatting issue on the comments. So.
Like wrap text wasn't clicked on that box.
And I have that, so I can just show you where that.
I second that.
So we have motion and a second. Is there any additional discussion? The only discussion I have is you're doing a very good job. We're happy to have you. And your evaluation was very positive.
Do I get a chance to add to for compensation.
I thought we already had, it was in your contract. Wasn't that your?
So there was a discussion to add, cause right now, I only have a 1% deferred comp, and I was hoping to change that to 2. And then I wanted to add the word coaching is all. Cause in there it says I can go to conference and all this, I want to add the word coaching and a 2% deferred comp.
Is that a contract change?
It is. Cause right now it says 1% deferred comp, and that's what happens is like every year to be able to have those discussions.
When would that start then?
My hope would, the deferred comp would go retro to July. That's when it happened for the rest of the staff.
So, oh, the deferred comp, everybody got a deferred comp.
And I don't get that automatically. I have to ask. You guys have to give that to me.
I would
Yeah,
say,
I get the pay increase automatically based on whatever everyone else gets, but nothing else.
well, I would think since that's a standard practice and we're in the process of,
So everybody has got a 2% deferred.
On the city hall side, correct.
But you're.
It's up to 2%. It went up 1%. And mine's
Just
at 1%.
asking it to be equal to everybody else.
Yep, 2%.
and plus add the word coaching.
So you could,
Oh,
the coaching
part.
Everybody understands what is coaching
Right,
is.
as opposed to just going to a conference or just taking classes. We get coaching specifically.
Motion for that.
Actually, I would think.
Yeah,
so.
we'd have to amend
I
that
would-
motion.
I can,
We've
I
heard
would
the
like-
motion
Yeah.
and lost track of
Just-
that motion was.
Well, the
because-
motion is to approve his rehire. So now we just have to amend the motion, whoever made the motion, to, for the 2%, or the one, to make it a 2% comp, add 1% to your salary.
1% to deferred comp is all.
Okay.
So I would like to amend my motion to include, to give city manager Brandon a 2% deferred comp, which is an increase of 1% from the existing comp, and have the word coaching added to his.
I'll second that.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion that we'd have regarding this? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion passes. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.